What's up, brothers and sisters? It's your brother G World 7_D. And I showed you the other day that I have here the book, The Lords of Tikal, Rulers of the Ancient Mayan City. In the monuments and in the large forest or the so-called jungle that's covering up the walkway to each platform. Now I want to say this, that when we study our history, we gotta get out of this mess that we just brought over here as African slaves. Majority of us were already here, and we had great black civilizations that were built here, and we traveled through various different lands throughout the Americas and over in Africa and ruled Europe with the black nobility and throughout Asia. Remember, look at those carved structures into natural rock. So-called black folks did that globally. So you got to stop. You got to stop saying that your ancestors come from slavery. It's sad, man. I'm constantly hearing this, and these Negroes have not done no really deep research. It's too much information. You claim to be educated, but you haven't had that much of an education. Take your ass down to a library and do some real research. Because this is getting ridiculous. Because the information is right in front of your face. I'm going to begin this book. First, I'm going to go to the first chapter. All right. Let me see if I can get a focus on here. So I'm going to get a focus on with my camera. And we're going to start off right here at the top. Great cities, like great works of art, are the product of a great deal of time and expense, reflecting the full range of emotions of the people that made them happen. In the case of Tikal, its splendid setting, particularly hidden in the rainforest of Guatemala, and the hedonistic delights offered by the city's textures, colors, and shapes, and the mysteries that lie beneath its surface, invite interpretation. Hopefully I can get a clear image. There you go. The architectural splendor developed within the framework of a world-class civilization. The ancient Maya, the city of Tikal, thrived and expanded from 800 BC until 900 AD. All right, spanning most of the known periods of archaeological classification imposed by scientific research upon the Mayan civilization. To place the city in context, we must first examine how it compares with the rise of civilization in general, and how it fits within its own civilization. By the time of its collapse in the 10th century, Tikal covered roughly 65 square kilometers, with over 3,000 known surface structures. As many as 10,000 ruined buildings and platforms may lie below the surface. The population reached a figure of somewhere between 100,000 and 200,000, although arguments are entertained for even greater numbers. The peak achievement, both politically and in terms of monumental architecture, fell during the reign of 3 successive kings in the 9th century, when astonishing feats of construction were performed. These monuments still rise above the tropical forest, although the jungle have obscured most of the city, blessing the ruins with the added dimensions of romanticism and mystery. Decades of archaeological research have lifted the veil of mystery only slightly. All right, we're going to read a little bit longer. Great civilization began to emerge in the old world out of agricultural base right around 4000 BC. The same process emerged from hunting and gathering stages and farming, and thence into complex societies took place in the New World at somewhat later times. Okay, now I want you to see where they made the comment. By the time of its collapse in the 10th century, Tikal covered roughly 65 square kilometers with over 3,000 known surface structures, as many as 10,000 ruined figure of somewhere between, as well as many as 10,000 ruined buildings and platforms may lie below the surface. So there's so much that still not haven't been discovered, but there's so much that's already there. All right, it's been discovered. I'm gonna go and read here. The Maya area. Right, here's the Maya area, and I'm just gonna straight up read this. The landmass occupied by the Maya covered a significant part of modern Mexico, comprising the eastern portion of the state of Tabasco and Chiapas, and all of the states of Campeche, Yucatan, and Quintana Roo. In addition, the Maya civilization extended into all of modern Guatemala and Belize and the northwestern part of El Salvador and Honduras. El Salvador and Honduras. This area is described in two geographic zones: the relatively flat Yucatan Peninsula and a series of mountain ranges which lie at the base of this peninsula. These ranges are divided between the northern and southern highlands. There is a slope forming a distinctive region that leads from the mountains down to the Pacific Ocean. The contrast between the hot, wet lowlands and the cooler, drier highlands has led to the misconception of uniformity within each of the two zones. In actuality, the lowlands are extraordinarily varied, exhibiting a variety of vegetational regimes, complex drainage systems, and topographic relief. All this varied in land form most must have been a welcome challenge for the ancient Maya, who became adept at exploring and adapting to micro niches in their varied environment. Right? I'm gonna go and show you the expansion of the Mayan cities, okay? Or what was considered Maya. How it expanded in different parts. It just went in one small location. Notice it: Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Belize, and it's Mexico. All right, I'm gonna go even further. All right, I'm gonna go even further. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna show you another image. A lot of stuff has been so much abandoned now. It's stuck in is in a deep forest or jungle, which is called a jungle now. All right. Now I'm gonna read even further. The forest environment. Okay, here's the forest environment. The rainforest is at the same time a source of usable plants and animals, and a challenge to survive. The soil is shallow, which means that the trees extend their roots broadly, soaking up most of the minimally available nutrients in the frugal soil. The Maya learned very early in their development that they had to clear the forest before planting any domesticated crop, and then to nurture that cleared land until its nutrients were mostly used up before moving on to another part of the forest. The clear plot of land is called the milpa in Mesoamerica, the Spanish name for field. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm going to show you that, what I just read, and get it clear. Alright, so you can see what I just read right there. I'm going to pull up. See what I just read right here. Alright. The tall trees include some tropical hardwoods such as mahogany, suracote, pimenta, as well as the tropical cedar, all still used today. The Maya recognized that the sapodilla tree, known today for its sap, the cycle, the source of chewing gum, provided wood very resistant to the voracious jungle termite, and so they use sapodilla timbers at Tikal, where they remain in place today. The Ampilla said to have been used by the Maya to make intoxicating drink, grows all over Tikal. In the spring, its flaming red foliage brings color to the city. Archaeologists at Tikal noticed an unusual high number of Araman trees whose fruit and nuts were heavily exploited by the Maya. These are perhaps wild remnants of orchards once nurtured near habitation. One of the first outstanding trees encountered by visitors on the path to the ruins is an ancient giant, the Siba, sacred tree of the Maya, known as the tree of life. The Siba figured prominently in the ancient art, iconography, and mythology of the culture. Even today, a Siba is never cut in the process of clearing a milpa. Throughout the Maya area, one often sees these tall trees majestically alone in a cornfield. These trees, which were particularly useful or sacred to the Maya, were nurtured within the confines of a settlement, be it village or city. This ancient nurturing resulted in the preservation of a number of species, not just the trees, but also of smaller useful plants such as those which produce condiments for cooking, and medicinal plants as well. There's also evidence that the ancient Maya appreciated plants for decoration, as found in illustration of ceramic vessels showing flowers in their headdresses and on the thrones of prominent figures. These elements of natural beauty in the forest environment today gives us a glimpse of the palette of color and forms that inspire the ancient art. Items that were adopted by certain rulers as personal emblems and livery. Depictions of flowers, plants, and animals used in this way are clearly shown on planted vessels. The types of game prevalent in the forest include a white-tailed deer, a smaller member of the deer family called the broquet, the tapir and color peccary. All right, I'm gonna stop right there for that right on that part, and I'm gonna go even further down. And first of all, I'm gonna show you some of the monuments that were there. All right, you notice how the stairs going up. I mentioned I said like a stairway to heaven, and it's like a little tomb inside right here. You can go inside. You're climbing up, and there's a tomb inside. And these are like pyramids. It's so like, well, step pyramids right here, step, but look how they built in the blocks going up. You know, the step pyramids going like you see the Egypt step pyramids. This is how you see a bunch of these in America, man. Some of them were more smoothed out. Here we go again. I'll show you this image, which is the front cover of the book. See these monuments right here, all right? And you see like a large forest, because this used to be where they used to their ancient garden, but as like I said before, it's now jungle because it has not been kept up. They cleared the pathway to build these damn cities, but now, like I said, it has been kept up for over hundreds of years. This is what it has become when it has been unkept. You know, when the structures used to be a clear path, you can see right here, there's another form of monument or structure right here, but you see these trees and this forest going up and it's covering it up, man. You see the grass is growing on up in here because it has not been kept up. All right. Going further. Now I want you to really pick up on this one. Now here it is. Once you see this right here, let me get it clear. The name Tikal. All right. The name Tikal. And then get it clear enough to see. Here it is. One reading of the word Tikal in Yucatec. Maya divides the word into a T, meaning place of, that's land. A Ka'al, meaning spirits. Ka'al, Takal, Ka'al, 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 Ta, meaning place of. It's talking about the land, that particular land, like Ta Mare. This is T. T. This is land. All right. Let me get this clear again. I can just read it. This renders such romantic translations as place of spirits or place of spirit voices. And for one scholar, as where voices cry in the night. Legends has it that on one occasion, the people of the 19th century, were driven out of their humble houses in the ruins of a combination of fear of the spirit voices and the plague of bats. Bats, especially small fruit bats, have always favored the standing, empty chambers of the palaces and temples as suitable and desirable habitat. You remember, I think it was the Aztecs with the Batman? It is possible that an outbreak of rabies may account for the virtual abandonment of the site of the Maya reoccupants in the mid-19th century. Quite apart from the origins of the name as we know it and its Maya meaning, there is an emblem glyph which the ancient Maya themselves used to identify the site. This raises two questions. Is the name Tikal possibly the original name preserved through time by oral tradition? Can this name be read from an emblem glyph? There are two schools of thought. All right, and I'm gonna skip on for that, but I'm gonna go further down here. Okay, a more recent interpretation represents the other school of thought, or one school of thought, is based upon the sculpture found at the site of Copan in Honduras. On this sculpture of the adult male, the hair arrangement viewed from the rear is formed exactly like Tikal emblem glyph, a tied bundle. In this case, the tied bundle is the man's hairdo in the form of a top knot. All right. Whether the name Tikal is original or refers to reverence for time, or whether the name was mutual or muto and refers to flower with visual pun expression in hairstyle remains a matter of academic debate. But I'm gonna go back to T. Okay, you see that? It meaning place of the particular land. Ki, meaning spirits, or you can say add extra A, you get Kal E or Ki or Kal L. All right, so I'm gonna go further down, and I'm gonna show you some quick pictures of this great land. I'm gonna show you another great monumental structure here, and this is still in preservation. Look at all the trees that surround it. Look at large steps going up. Look at this. Here it is. There's another one. This is more deteriorating. All right. There's another one. Mr. Kyle. This you could say this is a lost pyramid, but it's sort of deteriorated. But look at it. All these different archaeological structures. Now this is a rendition of an artist sketch of how one of the cities might have looked. Right. And look at this image right here. Blow it if I can get a clear image. Now this could either be the feathers in his head or the locks coming out. Look at it. Right. And I want to do show another quick image. Because there's so many damn structures that was here in ancient America, man. That's been basically unnoticed and not talked about and totally ignored. Remember, this is Guatemala. A large part of it is Guatemala, and then the Copan and Honduras. So, but you want to show you different structures and how the natural land force is basically eating it up because it's been not kept up for so many years. You know, it's not been kept up. It's basically just been deteriorating. And I think recently they found some Mayan structures hidden deep in the damn jungle, man. There's just so much of this stuff. There's just so much of this of our culture that's out there. But we keep looking to Africa, but we need to look to the Americas because it's right in our damn face. It really is. It's just right in our damn face, man. It's right in our face, but we're not doing that. We're allowing foreigners to tell us that we just the descendants of African slaves. That's wrong information, man. You notice it now. I'm emphasizing they carved into natural rock. The Mali did that. I showed you how the Mali in previous videos how the Aztecs were Malinians, man. That Malinche chick, she nothing but a Mandingo. All right, that's a freaking Mandingo. But the carving on the rocks you seen in West Africa, you seen here in the Americas, but you seen even I show you the carving that you see in the Maya. You notice how the steps going up. You had that stuff like that stack structure. Excuse me, I'm trying to speak fast. You also find that in Asia. So there's a connection to the black people in Africa, the black people in Asia, the black people obviously in the old land here in America, and the black people over in Europe. All right. It was always a connection, man. And some of these monuments and figures are deteriorating. A lot of these old structures have been here for thousands of years. All right. But we have to basically claim our history, but we keep saying that we're descendants of African slaves. That's wrong information. That is bad information. That is inaccurate information. There's so much of our history that we have not talked about, that we have just allowed other people to steal from us. We cannot do that. We got to continue to combat all these lies and take back our history. And some of this stuff you cannot see because it's buried under so much trees and so it's like stuck deep in the forest. Like the grass had totally succumbed to taking it. So it's buried. In order to see some of the stuff, you either have to walk through there and travel through there, or get an area view to get a good look at it. A close area view, because it's buried so deep in the rainforest. This is our history, man. We need to take back everything of our history. All of it back. Everything of our history and all of it back. I read the other day how the brothers and sisters travel back and forth where they connected to the brothers and sisters in so-called Mesoamerica, because it was always travel. I said they used the riverbeds. They used the different river channels to travel north and south, east and west. That was an ancient highway. All right. The way we use highway today, I said this like in the previous video, Highway 55, Highway 80, Highway 57. They use the rivers as the highways. But we did have paved streets, some gold streets, in our own ancient highways. We had that here. So the true history in America's, our true history is globally, but we have a great history here. There's so many damn monuments here has been ignored, and it's been purposely ignored. In some instances, a lot of them don't know because this stuff has been buried deep under the forest, rainforest. But we have to really understand our true history, and we got to get to the point that we got to get out of this stuff, just thinking that we're just descendants of slaves in Africa. Some of your black historians have said that in the past. That's wrong information because they've been mistaught at these white institutions or HBCU institutions. They've been miseducated by non-black teachers or Negro teachers who were educated by white folks themselves. We're going to have to look at our history fully and totally embrace our history, and don't be afraid to reclaim our history and then ignore people saying we're trying to steal their history when actually they have stolen our history. So we need to take everything back. Everything back. Everything back. All right? So brothers and sisters, this is just a quick video talking about Tikal. And I'm gonna do some more because I want to talk about all the deep gold that was found out west and how a lot of black civilizations were doing some ancient mining here in Americas. They were doing that. Not mining not only the mining the gold, but they was actually carving into the gold, man. It took great feat and great technology to carve those little statues or larger monuments. Gold, carving gold, man. That's not easy, man. That's not done by a simpleton individual. That's done by an individual who had a high form, a high tech technology, and that's what ancestors did. Not only they carved into rock, natural rock, but they was able to carve into many different minerals and to make different images from the many different natural minerals. They did that. So stop selling yourself short. And when I keep hearing these Negroes talking about they descended of African slaves, I want to puke. Because that's a damn lie. That should not be taught no more. Stop saying you're going to Google search something. You cannot Google search this information. You got to do deep-seated research. And this stuff doesn't come overnight. But I'm giving you a quick leg up. So you can not only see it, but then you can go and taint it for yourself instead of going through the rigorous stuff that I did had to get this information. I'm giving it to you. Like the quarterback. He snaps the ball, he's handing it off to the running back. I'm handing you the information. The information's there. But you got to want to grab it, seek it, and run with it. That's only a small part where I just covered Tikal or Copan in Honduras. We had so many great black civilization on this damn planet, man. But particularly in the Americas. Stop saying that you come from some little village in West Africa. You do not. You are a descendant of the Aboriginal blacks who built many great monuments here in America. Many great monuments here in America. Many great monuments here in America. This is our home, man. So your brothers and sisters got to understand that. This is our home. We are the Aboriginal people of this damn land. This is our home. You have to understand that. You have to comprehend that. This is our damn land. We got to stop this mess saying that we descendants of slaves and then begging other group of blacks to embrace us, man. If they don't like us, fine. Because a lot of them have a lot of self-hate issues themselves. Because this is our history here. This is their history too. But this is really, particularly for us here in America, this is really our history. Because these are our ancestors. And when these empires start falling down, many of those are the ones who were captured and made into slaves. They didn't have to go to Africa, ship the black folks over here. The black people are already over here. You gotta get out that myopic thinking of that you just came over here on a slave ship. That is wrong information. There's so much of this information that is yours. You need to reclaim it. This is your history. Reclaim it. I love you, brothers and sisters. Just wake the hell up. Peace.